All right, Hangout is live.
Hello world.
Hello, world. Uh, must apologize. I've been really busy. I did not get done with my agenda, which was to figure out how we're going to do voting. I'm not sure exactly how many members we have at this point that would even be eligible to vote, but we
Sean?
do.
Sean, is that something you can check on real quick?
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
It looks like we have not had any additional entries or nominations. I did speak with Rayanne over the weekend. I emailed her and she was hoping that she could be a part of it, but she said she had some health challenges and some financial challenges, so she wasn't sure if she's going to be able to, and I don't see her name on there, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that means she did not. I did kind of make it clear that we'd be willing to cover those financial challenges. At least I know I would be, because I value her involvement on the board, but looks like that didn't happen.
Well, can I nominate Rayanne?
By yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is like I don't want people to be nominated unless they actually want to serve, you know?
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, and we did set the deadline as yesterday, so I don't want us. I don't. Yeah, we don't want it, favoritism to.
Yeah, no, I get it. I would have nominated her actually. I just assumed that as active as she was, that if she was interested, she would have nominated herself. So I did.
Well, and she's definitely is interested. Just like she said, the last few months has been difficult for her. So, my response to her was, I made it clear we all would love to have her on the board, but we also number one priority is taking care of yourself before you can start helping other people. So, she's got to do that. So at this point, it looks like we have 7 nominations for 6 spots.
That's good. At least we'll have 6.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, if we can figure out the number of people we have, I mean, we looked at different options. I think a blockchain option would be great, but I don't know that it even makes sense with the number of people. Sean, if you know how many we have, how many members?
Have nine voting eligible members.
Yeah, so with 9 members and 7 spots, 7 people nomination. At this point, it could just be done manually, via email. Just email us your votes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
So who should we email? Who's going to collect?
I mean, in theory, we should leave it open we've got to leave it open all the way to the end of the. I mean, we may get more than 9, I guess, before the end of the year. I think though, with the small number we have, just a simple Google form would be fine, and we could anonymize the data, so still make it public, and just obfuscate the email addresses, and then emails. My thought was we could email someone like a hash of their email address and say, hey, this is if you go look at your own vote, verify your vote's correct, and I could look and say, okay, here's my hash. I go on the results and I see my hash, my vote's correct. So each individual person can verify their own vote, but still have the data anonymous across the board. Thinking.
Yeah, but we talked about this before. I think that makes sense for publicizing it, but I'm not sure a Google form makes sense for accepting the votes, because anybody could type in anybody else's email address.
I got you. Yeah.
Whereas,
people could spoof emails as well, but we might as well just say go ahead and email your vote to.
Yeah, we could still publicize it with a hash like you mentioned, but.
Okay.
So I was trying to remember. I never can remember who's secretary and who's treasurer, but probably the secretary would be the appropriate person to collect the votes and then report once the voting period's over.
That would be me then. I'm the secretary. As far as now, when you say that, should it be literally emailed directly to my personal address, or do we email to the board and I'll collect them? I mean, does it matter?
Oh yeah, either one. I guess the board would be fine. Just board at TennesseeBitcoin.org.
Yeah, and that way everybody can verify that I put it in the spreadsheet correctly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The whole board will see everybody's votes that way, but I guess that's fine. Versus you being the only one to see all the votes if you were secretary.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, then, actually, that probably is better. It probably should just go to me as the secretary, and then again, I will publicize and the votes in a way that each individual voter can verify their
Yeah,
I
and
think,
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be heroic measures if you were to go ahead and post a hash or whatever. I think unless somebody objects or raises a concern, I think we could just accept your word for a 10 person vote. But assuming all 9 or 10 of them even vote, um, but if somebody were to object, then yeah, I think you could go and do that hash thing, and we could prove that every vote was counted, and
okay.
everyone could verify their own vote.
Okay. So then, as far as how
So
often
I
and
guess we need to
who,
publish the nominations to everybody, email it out to everybody.
yeah, I mean, what I've been doing is modifying the form. So right now, the current online form has those, but yeah, we need to email everyone, and then also kind of make sure that we're regularly emailing people that haven't voted yet. Whoever's a member that hasn't voted, we should keep emailing them until we get a vote from them.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to have at least half, I believe, to have a quorum.
Yes. Sean Roy, could you put together the names and email addresses of our current members in like a spreadsheet and send that to Luke?
I don't even think it has to be a spreadsheet, but I've got it right here. I can send it directly to him.
Yeah, email that to me. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, Sean, what address does it have for me? I always get my user address and my board address mixed up. What address should I email you from?
For voting, it should be your personal email address. I have a sgking379922.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Because I'm going to email the actual addresses that we have registered in our system. So as long as you reply back with the same account that I emailed, then that should validate it as a valid vote. And then Sean Roy, if there's a way you could maybe, I don't know, once a week for the rest, or every few days, maybe just set a calendar reminder for yourself to just check and see, oh, we've got 2 or 3 new users. Let me get those to Luke so he can send out another email to those 3 users. I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to vote this, during this time period. And I think that would be the best way to do it. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't looked at this in a couple of days, and it looks like we got a little response from. Hold on a second. I've got some feedback coming through here. I gotta.
When you send out that email, you probably ought to remind people that they need to cast 6 votes for 7 people, no more than 1 vote per person.
Right. So just tell them to list the 6 candidates out of those 7 that they would want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that in the format of the email and just make it sure that they, in the email, just put an X next to each name or something like that in a way that's clear.
It looks like we've picked up a total of, well, I don't know how many it is since the last time that I looked at it, but we now have a total of 18 free members and 9 paid members.
Are all of the candidates paid members?
They need to be.
Yes. Yeah. So that'd be good to verify before we send out voting.
Yep. So what I've got is actually Eric may not be. He's kind of a new arrival.
Well, and I'm not sure if I technically am, because we went back and forth about that, about what we were going to do about reimbursements. I don't know if we ever clarified that. So I never joined because we talked about either just reimbursing funds and then I would just purchase a membership, or just reimbursing in terms of a membership. I don't know. John, Roy, do you remember? Did we ever do one thing or the other?
We did not do anything.
Okay.
What we did is we talked about it, and then we stopped at that point. Neither one of us have been reimbursed, and we haven't paid anything out for either one of us.
Okay.
So I mean, that's up to you how you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll leave that to the secretary, but or the treasurer, but I would prefer personally seeing the actual transaction on the blockchain for an individual to say, yes, this is a verified like I'd like to know that there is actually a transaction that I can point to on the blockchain that shows that I am an annual member or a lifetime member.
That's kind of what my thought process was.
Yeah, so I would prefer that get paid.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay, I just want to make sure we had that was clear.
Later this evening, I will have all those financials published to the website also.
So with that, so yeah, okay. So also too, how are we going to handle just kind of? I think at one point we had it up on the website. We may still have it on the website. A list of like the paying founder members. Privacy-wise, I don't know if we really discussed if that was cool with everybody, but either way, is that still up? Should I go off of that?
That was just that was a temporary one, or that was good up until that point.
Yeah.
What I was going to do is I was going to wait to update that again at the end of January, because at the end of January is when the founding membership is expired. So there won't be any more founding members after that point.
Yeah. So I see. Yeah. So I see James Brown on here.
But see, my name's on there, and I never joined.
Yeah, that's just because I had you on the board and it was in the list. So I kind of took that as a given.
All right. So John, to do pay pay for membership.
Sean Roy. If you have that list of current members in front of you, paying members, can you verify that the other candidates are all already paying members?
Yeah. Give me just 1 second here, because I'm.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like, I'm not sure when I talked to Eric about being on the board. I'm not sure if he knew he'd have to be a paying member. So if like he drops out, then yeah. Well, I guess we still need to have voting, but it's kind of silly because there would only be 6. But
all right. Can somebody quickly tell me or easily get me to the list of nominees?
yes, here. It's right here on this. I'll link this to you. It's right there on that form.
We just posted it in the board member Slack channel.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now, just to do a verification. As soon as I find it here.
Sounds like somebody's in the hospital or something.
Yeah, really.
That's what that sound. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the sound reminded me of.
Okay, Eric O'Reilly, John Barrett are not premium members.
I'll contact them.
Okay, and then me and then me, correct?
Yeah, I've got you on the premium member list because you were on the board, so that was by default. We just don't have the paid transaction on there yet.
Well, okay. Well, if I go right now to try to upgrade, is it going to let me if I'm already a member?
No, it will not.
Okay, so can you downgrade me to a free member?
Sure can. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
So Luke, surely everybody won't have any problem paying at least the annual membership fee, but if somebody does who has been nominated, I will pay their first year annual membership fee for them if that needs to be done.
Nice. Well, that is very generous of you.
I take that back, John. You are not listed on the premium membership, so yeah, you can go in. You log in with your personal email address, and
yeah.
then,
okay, I'm logged in.
Yep, and then you just upgrade.
Okay. Did you join as well?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's.
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's you, me, Eric O'Reilly, and John Barrett.
If I need to pay for you two too, I'll do that.
Thanks.
No, we're good.
All right. Appreciate that, Sean. I'll put that in the minutes, and that's really helpful, just so it won't be an issue.
Sean King, do you know you're registered twice?
Yeah, it's so confusing. I've got like one under my Tennessee Bitcoin.org address and another under my SG King. One is, as I understand it, is my board login. The other is my member login. So I don't know if there's a way to merge those two, but it's very confusing.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Because I'll tell you what I'll do is, we straightened out your account information the other day, right?
Yeah.
Where you were able to log into it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll fix that. I'll fix that this evening.
Yeah, but I don't know which one I'm registered under the Slack channel under and all that. I guess it's the Tennessee Bitcoin one, .org one. So yeah, okay. I think some things I'm registered, like Slack, I'm registered under TennesseeBitcoin.org, but I think all the Google stuff, I'm registered under SG King 37922. So it's very confusing.
Sean, I'm putting in a to-do item here for you to get me those contacts, and then also just a reminder to do it periodically.
I've sent that to you already.
Beautiful. Done.
It should be in your email now.
Okay. Cool.
Totally on a off-topic, since I got you here, Luke, do you know if there's a way to combine two different Slack channels into one app?
You mean into one?
Like one interface? Yeah, like one interface. Like you have the Slack webpage up, and then you belong to like 2 or 3 different Slack channels?
Yes, yes. There's a switch teams option. We talked about that previously, is if there was a way you could do that on your mobile or on the Slack. I use the Slack Mac app itself, which is a really great app. And so like I've got both the Foxcart and the Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance there, and I can just toggle between them. But
okay,
yeah,
cool. I just want to make sure that was the case, because I'm having like Slack overload here.
Yeah, and you can definitely control your notifications, so you can change how often you're getting notified and all that.
Or like if you get notified just when you get mentioned.
Yep.
All right.
I'm thinking about. I've been so impressed with Slack. I'm thinking about adopting it in my business. Is it
beautiful?
Is it free?
The version,
yeah, it's free up to a point. Depends on how much history you need and how many members, and I mean a bunch of other different things. But we have a paying account with Foxcart, and it's phenomenal. We use it for everything.
Yeah, most of the features that you're going to use, except for I think Slack will archive 10,000 posts, where you can search 10,000 posts on the free account. If you need more than that, then you have to pay the $6 a month or whatever it is.
So Sean, do you want me to ping you every few days or whatever? I guess my concern is if anyone signs up between now and the end of the month, I want to make sure they're given out ample opportunity to.
Here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this up as like a constant notification, so that way I'll get notified if we have a new new invite or a new member join.
Do you have a way within the software we're using to send an email notification when that happens?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll just have it. I'll just run a comparator here on my screen and see what happens, and I'll get a pop-up.
Cool. Alrighty. So yeah, I'll put together that email. I'll email those people.
And I just joined, so I'm a member now.
Nice. Picking you off the list then.
One thing that was on our agenda last week that we didn't cover, and I'll just add it right now, we can finish the voting conversation before we talk about that, was to discuss reimbursements. I get that thing.
Yeah, we took that off because Sean wasn't able to make it. Or
had to jump off early, yeah. But I just added this to the agenda. So since we get done, do we have anything else about voting we need to talk about?
I think just from a communication standpoint, do we have a set plan for how we want to go about just letting everybody in the community know? I mean, John, I don't know if you just here locally here in Nashville. I know we usually have our meetup tomorrow night, but I doubt that's going to happen, right? Because we haven't publicized it or anything. Eric is ready to present, but I'm just saying whatever we do to communicate to the community, hey, this is the time to vote the next couple of weeks, or less than a couple of weeks. What's our plan for that, promoting that, communicating that? Is it just, I mean, we want to put something on the homepage of the website, you know, join and vote? What are you guys' thoughts? I mean, the reality of maybe this first year might not be much going on, unfortunately, or at least the early part of this year.
Well, even in the Bitcoin Foundation, voting happens next month, and there's very little conversation about it. And even though there are hundreds or thousands of members. Right. So my thoughts, I think that if we have, and yeah, I think we should definitely email our lists, but also, like, you know, just say, hey, this is what's going on. Also make sure they know about the founding member class, because now that I think about it, I don't know if we mentioned that in an email, or I guess I don't know if I mentioned that in an email, that if you want to be a founding class member, you have to join by the end of the month. So I think publicizing that, plus publicizing the election, is key through email. And if we have if we're able to have an in-person event between now and the end of the month, which Luke, you and I could talk more about this, but Emma's changed the way they handle like reservations. So I don't know. I'll show you that there's like a form to fill out online to request a date. So if we can get an event between now and the end of the month, then yeah, we should definitely publicize it then. And then Sean Roy, what do you think about putting like a banner on the homepage of the website?
Sure. I can. I will try to get that done. I had to make some significant changes to my workstation, so I'm missing about half the software that I normally use. But okay. I will work on that this evening, and if I don't get it up tonight, I'll have it up no later than tomorrow.
Okay. So, but even if you can't make it like an image, even just like the text, is because I think it's. I see. Okay, I do see on the homepage where it does say in parentheses at the bottom of the paid memberships, join before 31st, January 1st, and you'll be registered as a founding member. Mm-hmm. So that's good, but we should definitely say, you know, elections going on now or something like that. You know, join to cast your vote. You know, something along those lines.
Cool.
Those are my thoughts. Any comments, questions, additions?
Yeah, I think that's about it that I can think of. I was thinking we have that Google group that that was kind of birthed out of, prior to this meeting, was birthed out of that one Google group. We could email that group as well. I don't know if we've used those email addresses much.
Google group?
Yeah, the Bitcoin think tank, I think it was called.
Oh yeah.
Think tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot completely about that once we switched to you having an email list.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we include that, and also too, I mentioned this in Slack, but I really would love for us to promote the Slack accounts as well. Like, I think that's really where we're going to get things moving, is where people are involved in Slack. Conversations can happen throughout the week. People can be, you know, joining the different action teams and given tasks to work on. I think Slack is the point where people that are serious about promoting this can get involved, ask questions, that kind of thing. And I think the last time we talked about that, it would be as simple as just, hey, letting us know they want a Slack account, and then we add them, right?
Are you asking? Because that's exactly it.
Yeah, but we haven't really told anyone. I don't know that anyone even really knows. So it's just, again, another thing that needs to be promoted, so people know, hey, we have this thing, and we'd like. I'm not even sure how James found it. I'm really glad he did, but he's on there, and he's kind of the only one at this point.
Yeah, so we want to make this available to any member, voting or not, basically?
That was my thought, yeah. I mean, anyone who would want to be on an action team, which would include all membership.
Yep.
Like I said, I was part of a different Slack channel I got invited, it was like an altcoin, and there were, I think, 1,000+ people in there, and, you know, they had a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. In a way, treated much like IRC, I guess. But I think if we had more people in that Slack account, there's a potential for getting more done. Because there's reminder, hey.
I don't want to interrupt board business, but as soon as we're done, I've got a couple quick questions for you about Slack, Luke.
Sure. So anyway, I'm just gonna make a note of that. It's something that I think we should be doing.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think. we should probably have some kind of welcome email that goes out when people join. Now, Sean Roy, you said that there was a way to connect MemberMouse to MailChimp, correct?
It's already connected, yeah.
You did? You connected it? Okay. Because it'd be good if we had some kind of automated email that went out when they join as a free or premium membership. I mean,
there is an automated email that goes out when they join.
Okay.
Let's add it to that.
Yeah, because we can add, hey, click here to, if you want to join our Slack channel, click here to request it. Because I think you can just give them like a link, and if they request it, then they're in.
Is that how it works?
You know, I don't remember how to. I think you just go to slack.com. Or no, you go to TennesseeBitcoin.slack.com.
Yeah, there's two different ways. Either you can have someone manually add you, or you can say, well, no, actually, okay, I'm looking at it. I guess you're right. To start using Slack, you'll need to be invited by your team administrator. Okay, so we have to manually invite them.
Yeah. So emailing, me or any one of us, I think, is fine. But yeah, let's put that in there. I would say even just board add is fine, so any one of us can handle it for now. I mean, I don't think we're going to get overwhelmed at this point with emails.
Yeah, agreed.
So if you could add that to the welcome email, that would be great, Sean.
Okay.
Or John, do you have access to that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do have access to it.
Okay, I haven't messed with MemberMouse yet, so don't really know where I do. Okay, for some reason, I logged into the back of the website and I've got like I've got almost no privileges as far as editing anything. I was a full admin before.
Yeah, you know what? I think something actually ran into this on a client's website the other day. Actually got locked out of an entire website. I had to restore from a backup because we changed an account on MemberMouse and it changed it in WordPress.
Gotcha.
So it screwed everything up. So let me let me see here if I can get in here and figure this out.
Well, maybe just make a task of that. We don't have to do it right now. But if you can edit the welcome template, or if either one of us can, if you can up my privileges, send me a ping on Wunderlist or Slack, and then I can edit that welcome email to, and then include something to say, mention Slack and our action teams.
Oh, you're signed in right now with your Gmail account. Sign out and sign in with your Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance account.
Why do I have two separate profiles?
Same as me.
Yeah.
Because
you created one for our
memberships were disconnected from the Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance or the TennesseeBitcoin.org domain.
I'm actually okay with that too, because if I'm not a board member next month, then that account can get taken out and my membership account remains. So I think that's proper, actually.
Yep, that's why we did that.
Yeah, you can leave mine alone too then.
Yeah, that makes sense now. I understand now why. I don't know what I'll figure out. Since the login interface is different. But yeah.
Yeah, you just have to log out and log in, but you know what? For some reason now I'm not seeing you under the administrators either.
Okay.
So I fixed that.
Yeah, it says that no invalid email address when I do john.meese@TennesseeBitcoin.org. Okay, so if you can try to create me an admin profile, that'd be great. That's fine if it's separate from my member profile, but either way. Although we could just upgrade. Okay, so we can have one login information, and we can just downgrade someone from admin to member whenever they're no longer on the board, and that would ease things up by just having one login.
No, it was a matter of the email address because that email address may or may not be valid for when somebody is or is not a board member anymore.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. But
Yeah, but I agree with what John's saying. Is I think it can definitely be separate. If permissions can be handled independently of the email address, then that would say, well, we don't necessarily need to have 2 accounts per person.
Right, and my username right now is John Meese. It's not an email address. So my username, your username is the only thing that you can't change. You can change an email address attached to an account at any time. Like, although my email address right now on my account is maybe my personal one, I can change that to it being my TennesseeBitcoin.org one, because my username is just John Meese.
Yes, you could.
I would prefer just having one account and not having to wrestle with 2 different accounts.
All right, so let me change this.
All right. So as far as voting discussion goes, it sounds like there's some definitely some potential cleanup that can be done within the member system, but I don't know if that's a huge priority at this point. As long as accounts access exists for people who should have access.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the next agenda item is just reimbursements.
Yes. Sean Roy?
Yes.
Do you want to talk on that? Do you have a status
sure.
update? Or? Yeah.
Just the reimbursements. We need to reimburse yourself and myself.
Last we talked about that was we were going to present that to the board and get approvals on it and then do the reimbursements. So is that ready to present?
Sure. Give me 1 second here. I just got to get logged back into the right account here. Don't tell me I certainly do. Okay.
The expenses are in like a spreadsheet or something?
Yeah, I'm on a spreadsheet. I've got them here, but I'm having to reset all my stuff back up. I had a drive failure I had to recover from.
Ouch.
Well, it wasn't really a drive failure. It was a software glitch in a SSD utility. Oh, come on. What the hell? Okay, there it is. Just waiting for it to load. Okay, these haven't been updated for January, but the expenses are all right here. And you know what? I don't have John's on here.
Okay,
John,
I did email it to you.
You did email it to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm getting horrible lag here.
Is it a Google Drive file that's in our TBA folder by any chance?
I don't know if it's shared out with everybody. Let me see here.
Because we have a Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance folders, so you could put it somewhere in there, then it can be verified by any one of us at any time. But yeah, but the last thing we talked about as far as this go is that that we need to make sure that at this point expenses are approved by the board before we do any reimbursements.
Yep.
So,
all right, it should be in there now. Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance. Where did it go? Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance. It's all called. Okay, it's called TBA Expense Ledger.
TBA Expense Ledger?
Yep.
On it, I'll put a link in Slack.
Yeah, and you gave me the dollar amount, but I didn't have an invoice.
Receipt.
Yeah, a receipt on it. And that's what that was the other thing that I'm going to do is take and basically just create a PDF for each of the invoices or receipts and make those clickable links on the website.
Great. Yeah, I'll send you that.
I also need to know what date this was incurred. That you have a 20505. I need to know what date that was incurred.
Yeah, it was over like 3 different installments, I think. Okay, I'll send you that information. I'll just put the dollar amount on there for right now,
Okay.
so we can add that. Did the link appear in Slack? Yes, the link is in Slack in the board members chat. So I can see right off the bat on here that there's at least one expense that I'm not a fan of, and that's the $500 for Wood Mansion. I don't think we should pay him. I mean, he said that, for those of you guys that don't know, when we had our launch party, then Matt Wilson offered that we could host our event there for free, and then he would take care of everything. And then after the event, he emailed us and said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to, give $500 to cover expenses and cleaning and all that kind of stuff?" And he said, "I paid $500 for a lifetime membership, so you might as well just give me that $500 back. We'll just count it as a donation to my company, or to cover cleaning costs." But I don't think I think that sets a bad precedent, because that means that mean that we're allowing members to earmark where their funds go when they become a member. Those are my thoughts, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's worded that way, that's certainly not acceptable for a nonprofit. But I also think that, I also think we didn't have anything in writing, right? I mean, it was kind of this bro deal favorite thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We talked about this last time and said, hey, that was our bad. We didn't solidify that. We did get an amazing space, and for even $500, I think is pretty cheap. Obviously, yes, we would have met somewhere else if we had known, and that is a disappointing thing. But I don't know that there's much we can do about it at this point.
Well, Sean, have you talked to Matt Wilson at all since he first emailed us about it?
Only briefly. I mean, and not specifically about this one thing.
Okay, because I'll Luke, can you add a task for me to talk to Matt about this? Because I think he mentioned in the email, he said, like, we can talk about this if that won't work. Yeah. And he mentioned one possibility would be that he does writes a tax deductible. I think one possibility he'd be open to would be as if he writes a tax deductible donation of $500 to the Tennessee Bitcoin Alliance, and then we use that. Oh, and then we still pay him $500, so that way his business is good, but that way we're not losing any revenue.
Yeah, again, I agree with you though. We can't earmark donations for stuff like that. But I just, to me, it's more just a clarification. It's a vendor issue, regardless of whether he's a member or not. To me, shouldn't play into whether or not we pay him. That's just my stance. Is if we screwed up at our interaction with a vendor and we need to maintain that relationship, then we need to resolve that. Whether or not he's a member of the Bitcoin Alliance, I think has no bearing in my mind as to whether we pay him or not. It's just a matter of, look, this is something that we as the board are responsible for. This is the largest expense we have at this point, and it's a surprise to us. We didn't expect to pay it, and as board members, we're responsible for the little bit of funds we have. There's just a problem there. Like, we didn't do a good job, right?
I move that we empower John to, and he kind of has this power as director anyway, but let's empower John to try to reach an amicable settlement on that. And I would go ahead and suggest we vote and empower him to settle it for anything up to, say, $250. If it's going to be more than that, then, let's bring it back to the board and hash it out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had talked about this previously and agreed that if we have to pay it, we have to pay it because we made that mistake. I'd have to go through the notes to verify that, but I thought we had said...
We did talk about it, but, the question is, it sounds like that he's agreeing that there was confusion on his end as well as to whether or not he was going to charge, and he initially...
Well, and I just pulled up the exact email, so I do have it in writing from Matt where he says, I will comp the rental cost of the facility. If we're going to need food or booze, we'll talk about ways to fund it, but we took care of that through James. But then he said, beyond that, the only cost will be labor for setup or cleanup, which should be below $100.
Okay, well then there we go. We needed to bring that email to his attention. Say, hey, we're responsible to this communication.
Yeah.
This is kind of where we're at. We could pay you the $100, but that asking for 500 just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And I think it's completely fair to pay him that 100. I mean, I get it. Has his own costs, but we also offered to stay and clean up, and he's like, no, I got it taken care of, and then he sent us a bill for 500. So that was kind of like, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, if you could contact him and let us know, that would be great.
Okay, I will. So, do I have your guys' authority to go up to, say, that $100 in settlement?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Yeah, I'll contact Matt. Luke, can you add that as a task for me?
Yeah, it's there now.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so there's that. Member mouse. Oh, okay, so I guess we should go down these expenses one by one. Can you guys see this file? Sean King.
Just
I
saying.
see. Yeah, Sean King, it doesn't look like you're on it. There's a link in Slack to the expenses.
Yeah, let me get back to Slack.
We should probably add a line on where the reimbursement is going to.
Where it's going to? I thought that
Like
I had that in there.
Oh, maybe you do and I didn't see it.
The vendor. The vendor is there's third.
No. Yeah, the vendor is, but it's being reimbursed to one of us. So I think that should...
In this particular case, we would be the vendor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if we didn't pay a vendor directly, then you're the one that got paid, I guess.
Okay, and I see that there's $316 for catering for a launch party.
Yep.
I don't recall... Did we have a conversation about the cost for that?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You know what? Maybe you weren't there. Did you miss a board meeting?
Yeah, we did talk about that. I don't think we talked about it beforehand. Like, it wasn't agreed on to say, hey guys, we're going to do this, and this is what the cost is going to be. I don't think we knew what the cost was going to be.
Yeah.
If I remember that correctly.
Yeah, we didn't know until after we got the invoice, which was that was James had comped us took several items off of that invoice, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
we did discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not opposed to paying James White for, like, he did a great job and all that kind of stuff, but I think we need to clarify now the future precedence is that if we have any events like this where there's going to be any expenses over $100, we really have to have approved some sort of budget in advance. We can't, otherwise we're just going to spend every dollar that comes in, on regular day-to-day expenses without being able to grow the organization.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the food was great. James did a great job, and he put a lot of work into it. I'm not opposed to paying them the $316, but just as on principle, I would say that as a board, we should be more careful about that kind of stuff in the future, about authorizing it in advance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Are we all on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all the other expenses look good to me.
Yep. I agree. And we did, just to be clear, we did talk about this before, and I think we even have a board resolution describing, hey, we have to authorize this stuff in advance. So
okay.
Some of this was before that was in place.
Gotcha. Okay, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember conversations about it. I didn't remember if we had a very clear resolution. So,
let's pay it.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing that's not on here that I'll add is that, I can add it, but I still need to send Sean the. I need to send Sean the invoices for our legal Zoom expenses. Which is a total of $205.05, but I think it's broke up in like $75 spread out. And one thing that Sean and I talked about, but I think it'd probably be good to run by the two of you guys, was whether how we reimburse the expense. Do we reimburse it? I mean, we'll reimburse it in Bitcoin either way. Do we reimburse it based on the exchange rate of the day the transaction happened?
This is in a resolution. We already discussed this. I think you may have missed that. Yeah, I think
Okay.
you may have missed that meeting, John.
Okay, sorry, gotcha. So what is it then? Is it then?
It is the exchange rate at the time of the expense.
Okay, got it.
Yep. So if you spent $20 in Bitcoin, you're going to get reimbursed $20 in, at that moment worth of Bitcoin. Now it may be less Bitcoin today, but it's still what it was at that moment.
The correct amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless of if it went up or down. And I think that makes the most sense because our organization does things in Bitcoin, then it should make no difference to us because we're made whole in a sense.
Okay, but I think you and Sean just said conflicting statements, so I just want to clarify. Luke, you said if you paid $20 worth of Bitcoin then, you get $20 worth of Bitcoin today.
No, I'm sorry. $20 that moment at that time.
Right.
Yeah, so it's better to think about it in terms of the Bitcoin. So if
Gotcha.
it's 0.2,
Okay, so
$20
like
is 0.2, then you get 0.2. That's what you get.
Okay, cool. That's good for me. I just want to make sure. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have reviewed the notes for the meeting I missed. That's my bad. Okay.
So let's see here. I'm looking at the minutes here. Yeah, do you want to just, we're going to go ahead and say what I was going to do. I'm thinking what I could do is I will paste in here all the ones that we are cool with. It looks like the only one is the Riverwood Mansion. That one's still to be determined, right? Like whether or not that's going to actually happen.
Well, put the amount TBD.
Yeah.
Here, let's do this. Let me add in here another column, and we can just note whether or not it's approved or not, or its current status.
Yes, that'd be good. Because what I plan to do is just I'll paste a copy of this into the minutes, and so we'll have a record of what's been approved as well. The nice thing about Google Docs too is everything is all changes are tracked in history as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but for the approved, we can just even put the date of the meeting where it was approved. So like today's date.
Good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to just put today's date for...
Yeah.
Yep.
Like 1/19.
January 19. Yeah, that'll work.
Because then, if need be, we could go by, and if it's not, even if we missed it in the minutes, we could watch the video to make sure that. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, John, if you can just get me the whatever it is, or even if you have to do a receipt, so that way I can just create a PDF off of it, and then that way I can post it as a clickable link.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a task in the agenda by any chance, Luke?
If it is now, I think it was before. I've just been working on it.
Yeah, it's an ongoing. I think it's already in Wunderlist as well.
And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of getting that ready so that way it can be posted instead of like just keeping it posted real time or whatever. That it's like posted quarterly, so that way every quarter we can go back and look at. Hey, naked boy.
Right.
Hey, Bubba, I need you to go in the house for a little bit, okay? Yes.
Is the server working?
The server's not working yet. Okay, hop up in the house. And close the door. I will try to do it. What was I saying? Oh, well, I'm going to post it so that's quarterly. So, like, what I'll do is I'll post all of the last, because we don't really have a lot that's not in that quarter. So I'll just kind of make the end of 2018 one big long quarter, and then every quarter from here on out will just get posted to the website.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, I've got that. So I've taken those expenses. They're in the minutes now, as to what we've approved, and that should be good.
Oh, speaking of expenses, what is the status on our tax?
Yeah. I think Sean King, that was something you're gonna look into.
Yeah, I've been in Phoenix. I have not had a chance to look into it. I made some progress on it a couple weeks ago and never got final resolution, so I'll have to pick that back up.
I think, Roy, you're shelling out $30 a month or something like that right now, right?
Something like that, man.
Yeah. Well, you can start invoicing Sean King then until he gets it done.
That's a good way of making sure it gets done more quickly.
That's an incentive.
All right, cool. We are almost out of time here. Sorry we started a little bit late. Anything else?
That's all I've got as far as board business goes, but I do want to pick your brain for a couple minutes on Slack. If I can.
Sure. We'll start another hangout after this. I just want to again thank everybody for.
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah, sure,
Cool.
sure. I know that we're all crazy busy, and it's been a little discouraging with the price and with the lack of thousands of people beating down our door to help out. But man, I appreciate every one of you, and I want you to know that. And I know it's encouraging when I'm like to know that other people are excited and vice versa. So I'm glad we're doing this. The more and more I think about it, the more I think this could be important. So
absolutely,
it's super important.
Cool. So even just these meetings are helpful to remind ourselves, hey, this is important. This is why we committed to doing this, because it matters. So, cool. I will start another hangout, and unless there's anything else.
All right, no, I think we're good.
All right, cool.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Adios, guys. Bye.
All right, thanks.